Hey, what do you know?
Hey, this is a special episode here of Rick the Rasslin Dad and his boys because, one, we got rid of Rick. Actually,
Yeah.
Rick right now is in Fargo. He's getting Timmy ready for Fargo next summer.
Yeah, next
acclimation, acclimation camp.
To elevation.
Yeah,
You got to
just
acclimate Timmy to the elevation.
Wants to make sure he's ready to rock and roll for next July, and hey, prepare. But we're gonna give you a special episode here. Dake versus Dieringer, baby. This is a huge day. We're gonna decide one more spot of our world team, and what a match that we've got on our hands here. Let's just real quick, just pregame.
You give your thoughts. I gotta run and get some things. We had to throw this together pretty quick.
Share on social media. So
I
hey,
will do that.
If you've already subscribed, thank you. Please share this on your social media. The intent of this episode is to give you that live play-by-play. If you don't have a Flow Wrestling subscription, hey, Smooth G is in the same spot as you. He always steals my account.
Now I'm stealing my brother's.
And he makes me angry, so therefore, anyone who is in, like, Smooth G's position, you can just hop on YouTube and watch a live commentary. We're going to be watching the match and just giving you live play-by-play, which, hey, let's be honest, it's a lot better than following Twitter and trying to refresh your screen there. So, pretty excited about this. How did we get here? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, they're going live from Round Rock, Texas right now, which is pretty cool. So we're watching it right here. I'm sure you explained that already. But the way we got here is Kyle Dake, returning world champion, did not let a point be scored on him, I believe. Is that correct?
That is correct.
At the World Championships?
39-0.
And so he was injured for the World Trials, so he, and then for Final X, well, mostly for Final X, and then so now they pushed it back because he's world champ. I think that's something that's appropriate, and
so since then,
here we are.
Since the injury, Kyle Dake, or excuse me, Dieringer, and is it Dieringer,
Dieringer.
or is it? We're just gonna say Ringer.
Let's just say Ringer.
Ringer versus Dake. Ringer has been on an absolute tear, has demolished every single one of his opponents, has won multiple tournaments, ran through the U.S. Open, Final X. It's been great.
Audio's good.
Rick is helping us here. He's giving us some live updates here on how our audio is. So
I just got it. Audio's good. Had to check it.
We should be good. The Star Spangled Banner is playing right now in Austin, Texas, and they are about to come out onto the mat.
I'm getting excited.
Real quick. I wrote down some keys to the match. I went back and watched their U.S. Open, and let's talk about that real quick. One, I believe Ringer needs to have a high pace. Kyle Dake could be fading. He has not wrestled very often this year, okay? He's been injured after the World Championships. He was taking some time off. He was injured. He hasn't wrestled this level of competition since the World Championships last year. So can he keep up with the Dieringer pace? I think Ringer needs to keep it close. He cannot make mistakes and give up big moves. You do not want to fall into a hole with Kyle Dake because his defense is so good and he can score so many points from that chest wrap position that you've got to be within striking distance when it comes down into the final seconds of the match. And then the last but not least, his go-to, right? Ringer's got two go-to shots. He's got a fish hook or an inside tie to a sweep single, which he dumps you on your back. I think Kyle Dake is going to be too savvy. He knows that's coming. He's going to keep that elbow back. He brings, that tricep control is not going to be near as strong when he does that. He's got to blow through his lefty high C. So the match that they last had at the U.S. Open, when he was having the most success, he was clubbing the head, posting the elbow, and getting to his lefty high C. He's got to get to that lefty high C, but he cannot stop once he gets to the leg. When he gets to the leg, he's got to get up and through Kyle Dake, because if you give Dake a chance to adjust and get to chest wrap position, he's going to launch you for 4, and that's where you don't want to be, like I said before. Dake is a guy that can score big points, all right? Dake then is his keys to success here. He needs to get the first score. If you can make it a match where he's got to come to you, your defense is going to serve you well. I think Kyle Dake, he's going to be able to do this, but a key is going to be managing his nerves. He's got to be ready to go. He has not wrestled this elite competition, and we know if he's fading in the third period, that could be something that where he makes that mistake of reaching up and allowing Dieringer to post that elbow and get to his high C. So he's got to manage his nerves. He's got to stay fresh throughout the entire match. And then the last thing is just got to stay disciplined with your hands. And the last time they wrestled, Dake did a great job of this in the first period. As he got tired and the match wore on, you start to lose that focus. And Dieringer was able to get his arm up and get to that lefty high C. So here we go.
Dieringer's coming out to the mat. Looks like he just got out of the shower. So I'm guessing he has a pretty good sweat going.
He got a good warm up.
Good warm up.
There we go.
I think he's ready to go. This
Slaps
is way more into his backyard. He's a Oklahoma kid. I don't know if he's from
Kyle
Oklahoma.
Dake
I'm not
is on
sure.
the
Do you know
mat.
where he's from?
I don't actually.
No, we don't. But he went to Oklahoma State. So.
Okay. They shake hands, and here we go.
Okay.
We started the match. Dieringer's down in a 3-point stance, stalking forward. Dake is giving up a little ground. This is a little bit different than how they've wrestled in the past. Controlling center, Alex Dieringer, both kind of looking at each other. Dake complains of an eye poke already. Circles in.
Kind of sounds like you when we wrestle, and I go interlocking fingers.
That's fine, but then I toss you.
Well, not more of a toss, more of like a little rat. You kind of get down to my legs.
Yep. 2:30 left in the first period. 2:30, both guys, not one attempt from either one of them. Just a lot of stalking by Dieringer. Kyle Dake goes 2-on-1, tries to post the elbow, get to a double leg, doesn't get close to the legs.
They are kind of feeling each other out here. It's almost...
We got a passive warning on Dake right now. Passive warning on Dake. Referee says you got to open up.
I think it's real important for Dieringer to get on top early. You don't probably want to be chasing too many points against Kyle Dake. Unless you're Jordan Burroughs, then it's okay.
Dake with an underhook starts to push Dieringer back. We're getting close to the zone. He's in the zone.
He's doing the old Thomas Gilman underhook push, which in freestyle, not a bad strategy.
Dake head is buried right now with the underhook, really trying to get him to the edge of the mat. We're now going passivity.
Passive.
For Dieringer, so both guys have now been warned.
Coming back to the middle. How many, looks like it's a pretty packed house there in Austin, Texas. That's impressive for a state that is not necessarily known for their wrestling fandom.
I think, have you shared this on social media yet?
Yeah, I have on Facebook.
Let's get that going so that they know we're going here. 1:30 left in the first period. The score is 0-0. I think this favors Dieringer. I think Dieringer needs to keep it close. This is a good move. I had Dake needs to score first. Again, just driving. His head is down. He's got an underhook. Right now they're holding up red. Attention red. Kyle Dake's in the red singlet. So now Dake is on the 30-second shot clock. He'll have 30 seconds to find a point against Alex Dieringer. Dieringer.
Dieringer.
We're just saying ringer.
We're just calling him Ring. The ring dog.
He gets to his underhook again. Oh, he's looking body locked. Nope. Dieringer does a good job of getting his hips back. We got 27 seconds right now on the shot clock. Time. They go out of bounds.
Oh,
the referee is showing 2 right now.
2 for Dake.
There may be a brick thrown with time. That was darn close. Right now the score is showing 1-1.
So they gave 1 to... Oh, so they go push out. They go Dake with the push out, but Dieringer with the...
Yep, so they're saying shot clock
point
was 30 seconds. Dake was pursuing to out of bounds. Step out. It looked like, it could have been one of those on the edge 2 calls, but they decide 1. So right now we've got Ringer 1, Kyle Dake 1 with the criteria to Dake for last point scored. 23 seconds left in the first period. Make sure you're sharing this on social media. Yep. Subscribe.
That's why I'm not talking. I'm trying to show on social media, which actually you would think doesn't take that long.
A shot by Dieringer.
Ooh, push out on Dake.
Gives a good counter by Dake. He circles his butt to the center.
We got
gets into a
2-1
body
Dake
lock
right now.
position and pushes Ringer out. 2-1, 3 seconds remaining. He keeps coming forward. There's 3 seconds left. Instead of slapping hands, Ringer means business. He stays in his face, pushes him back a few more times, and now we're at break.
Dake's looking pretty good, I think. He's controlling the mat. There really hasn't. The only attempt has came from Dake. I think we're going to probably see quite a bit more offense in this second period, but
Perry is barking orders right now at Ringer. Dake is back out into the center of the mat. 2-1. Ringer means business. Kyle Dake is just getting the job done like Kyle Dake normally does.
Hey, show this on your face.
He's upset. He's upset again. He got another eye poke.
Little hands
Dake
to the
stops
face.
wrestling.
Oh,
Comes
Dieringer's
right
coming
in
right
again.
back, right in his face. He's putting the pressure on him. I do think that might be his strategy, is that maybe Kyle Dake isn't in the best shape that he could possibly be in, and Ringer's coming at him, but Kyle Dake, that defense and just holding position.
This is
He's
where
one of the best at
the
it.
last time they wrestled, this is where Dieringer started to get some momentum. Was in the second period, and they start getting tired, and Dake makes some errors of just a little chink in the armor of raising that arm up and getting over to his post high C. Again, just the pace is high right here. Dieringer, great job with coming after Dake. You got to imagine Dake is feeling, his legs burning, getting tired, and this is right where Dieringer wants to be. He's got to find an opening to get to the legs and blast through Kyle Dake. Staying engaged in a hand fight here. The pace is slowed a little bit. Both guys are hanging a little.
I think Dake's frustrating Ringer a little bit here, which who would not be frustrated? It's just so hard to get any sort of position on Dake.
We're going passive blue. Dieringer's on the shot clock. Kind of interesting. It looks like he's been controlling the center of the mat, but Dake has been the only one to actually be able to put up any offensive points. So we're 10 seconds in right now. Ringer's got about 15 seconds left to score a point on Kyle Dake. Otherwise, we're going to be seeing another point for red.
But that's not a huge deal to Ringer right now, because if he does get a takedown, he will then have criteria on Dake. So this point's not really that crucial.
A push out won't help him. So that
push out wouldn't do anything.
He's got to get a takedown now. We've got a minute left in the second period. The pace starts to pick up. Ringer's starting to change levels, looking for duck unders.
Dake just controlling hands, staying right, kind of on the edge, but not too far to where it's not going to be an easy push out. But if and when Ringer starts getting risky here in the next few seconds, if he does get pushed out, he's got that way. He's got the out of bounds to just give up that easy point, because one push out will do nothing.
Dake's starting to flee a little bit, and he gets talked to about that. Ringer tries his post high C's, nothing doing, unable to get through the elbows of Kyle Dake. We're down to 33 seconds left. 33 seconds left in the match. A takedown for Dieringer would give him criteria win. Another attempt.
Oh, he's in. 25 seconds left in the
Back
match.
out. Sweep single, both guys
One
back
shot.
on their feet.
Dake circles it out.
Elbow control for Kyle Dake on the right side.
Ringer tries to go high crotch. He goes again, kind of half shot. He cannot get inside.
10 seconds.
Oh,
What
the
are
ref's
we
stopping
doing?
it.
Referee saying
1
caution
point
and
red.
one. I do not agree with
blue.
that. I do not agree with that. He
He gave Ringer 1 point. It's 3-2, 8 seconds left. Ringer in with another shot.
5 seconds.
Dake just staying in
Kyle Dake.
solid position, not letting Ringer in, and that's match one. 3-2 to Dake. They will go at least one more time here, and I believe probably 30 to 40 minutes.
Shake hands. Ringer's upset, obviously. Esposito talking to the official. He's not happy with the calls. I don't know what you can really be arguing about that. He got really a charity point there at the end for passive and not passive caution in one. But man, Kyle Dake does what Kyle Dake does. He wins matches.
That's got to be real frustrating when a guy's just. I mean, Dake outside of that one shot didn't really do too much, and yet he's just so solid in his defense. Doesn't give up position very easily. Can just sit there and frustrate you. You cannot get inside. You can't win the hand fight. You can't get to his legs. And then you start seeing Ringer take those half shots. So, next match, it'll be interesting to see how Ringer changes his game plan. If I was Dake, I would keep it the same. slow the match down, frustrate Ringer, get him to do something dumb. That's when you're going to score your points.
So difficult to, okay, we're doing live replay here. Double unders. Kyle Dake is how he scored that first point. He gave up the one, but really kept attacking. He got the step out and then moved down to a double leg. Shot by Dieringer, just a quick go behind by Dake allowed for the second point of the push out. And that's, that and the shot clock point is what was the whole
How does
scoring
Kyle Dake
sequence.
get his defense that solid? I mean, it's not like he's doing anything that nobody else necessarily does. It's just so hard to get underneath him.
Yeah, that's obviously hard to say. I think he is so low in his stance and stays so disciplined in his stance that it's difficult to get him out of position. Obviously, he's a phenomenal athlete. And the other thing that Kyle Dake, I think, is extremely underestimated is his brain. He's so smart, and he's so tactically, he knows what he has to do to win matches. And before this match, there was a lot of people, and I would say probably more people were saying that Ringer would win than Dake. I held true to my man Dake. I won't be honest. Obviously, that's easy to say after the first match is over, but this reminds me so much of the David Taylor series with Kyle Dake, that David Taylor was demolishing everybody. Ringer was demolishing everybody, and everyone thinks, oh my gosh, this guy is better than Dake because of the way that he does it, right? Dake, he wins close matches. And I think part of that is he knows what he has to do to win the matches. Even if they're close, he is able to beat the highest levels because he's so multidimensional. He can score from his defense. He's so difficult. So if you are OSU coaches right now, what are you telling Ringer?
I mean, I think you got to try to get Kyle Dake out of his game. I think before there are points, the match is different. Kyle Dake's wrestling a different way. As soon as you get down, as soon as you give up a point to him, it seems like his strategy, he just kind of parks the bus. And it's like, you're going to come at me, you're going to do something dumb because now you have to score, and I'm going, and then he's just going to counterattack and score off his defense. Oh man, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I would say. I mean, the thing is obviously don't give up the first point. Try to get up early, frustrate him early. Maybe push the pace more to try to get him tired. But it seemed like in that first period it maybe looked like he was, maybe not in not as good a shape, but he just stayed constant then throughout the whole second period. So.
Oh, our good buddy Travell's calling. Should we answer and put him on the podcast?
Yeah, get Travell in there.
Hey, Travell.
You're on the podcast.
You're on the podcast right now.
What happened? I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? You should have been on YouTube on Rick the Wrestling Dad and follow along with us.
Well, I was trying, but I'm driving through the countryside,
Okay.
and it was choppy.
All
I
right.
saw some of it. I saw what was Dake's last point for? How did he get his last
Shot clock point.
I mean Dieringer, sorry.
It was a caution and one, and it was one that I did not agree with. The caution and one was like Kyle Dake was just in a good stance. He was like trying to go through. He wasn't like fleeing really bad. He stayed, for the most part in the center of the mat, and they cautioned and won him just because Ringer was just shooting a ton. So, again, this is Travell Delognev, our newest Olympic bronze medalist. Travell, who was your pick before the series started?
I mean, obviously the guy that won.
Yeah, it's easy to say that right now. I actually told all of our viewers that I picked Dake to win right after the match got over.
No, yeah, I saw Dake. It's very interesting. that one push out looks really easy when he Dieringer shot a really bad shot. Like, it just looked like he just sidestepped him and pushed him out super easy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is we've been discussing, if you are OSU coaches, what do you say to Ringer in the back? I think one of them is you've got to pick your shots better. It looked like Ringer wants this bad. This is Ringer's opportunity to get let's be honest. this is part of, this could be, this is pretty much the world finals. These guys obviously are two of the most talented guys in the world. This could be for the world championships, and Ringer is not going to get many opportunities like this, right? He's got a beast in Kyle Dake in front of him, but when the word around the street is he's bumping up to 86 kilos next year. Then you add, David Taylor, potentially Jaden Cox in that weight. It gets a lot tougher. And I think this is the best weight class for him, and this is the best opportunity for him to, put that world champion on his resume.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the biggest adjustment is he's trying to pop shot Dake. It's not going to happen. He has to have more follow through in his shot. So same thing in that shot that he ran, he has to shoot through his positions and come up. Even if he misses a shot, he has to come up into a tie.
Right.
He has to he's trying to create stress pressure on Dake, but Dake's mentally tough, man. He's not going to get super stressed out if you just keep pop shotting. I mean, he's not going to make a mistake. He's going to be careful. You have to put physical pressure on him. You have to from the beginning whistle, Dieringer just has to do more. He has to do more. He has to be in more positions. He has to create wrestling. He has to come, get to positions, stay in a tie. Don't let Dake bounce around from the outside, all that stuff. But I don't know if it's his style. I think that the style he's wrestling is his usual style. He's not a very big time pressure kind of wrestler. He's more of a grab you and throw you down kind of wrestler. So it'd be interesting if he can make adjustments.
Yeah, before the match, I thought potentially Dieringer could get him tired because, Dake has not wrestled elite competition yet this year, and just that, match-like conditioning that you need is difficult to replicate in the practice room when you don't have nerves and you don't have, huge implications. And I thought potentially Ringer might be able to get him tired, and then maybe that's where his lefty high C is available in the third period or the second period, and being able to maybe get one at the end. But he's got to pick his shots better because Dake is the desperate double leg attempt to get to his legs not going to work against Dake. He's going to sidestep, get you out, get in front of him, square up, and push out or take down. And it's kind of what happened the first one.
I mean, the reality is that match was a very easy match for Dake.
Right.
He didn't do a lot, and obviously it was close. And it's not like he killed him. It's not easy in the fact that he did everything he wanted, but it was easy that he got a couple points, and Dieringer didn't really test him in any way. So it's almost like a clean slate, but now the stress from match one you carry into match two, and the momentum from match one you carry into match two. That was a very par match with both guys. So it's basically they're just, no one really has momentum, but Dake's up by a match now. And as in a 3-match series, that's exactly what you want. It's you want that, the don't give away too much in the first match and still win. And then going into match two, you're thinking okay, I put everything into this one and it's over. While the other guy's thinking freak, I got to win. I got to put everything into this one because it's going away, but then I have another one possibly. So it's best of threes are a little weird like that.
No doubt.
And I don't think Dieringer set himself up for an any worse Kyle Dake in the second match. I think that Dake's going to come out probably look a little harder, take a little more risk for that takedown. Because obviously Dieringer showed that, Dieringer got 2 cautions, so he couldn't even really score a push-out, but you got to think that if Dieringer scores or if Dake scores a 2-pointer, it's going to be tough to come back from that.
No doubt. It seemed at the beginning of the match it looked like Ringer was doing a really good job of putting pressure on Dake. For the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I went back and watched their U.S. Open match from last year, but it really looked like Dake was able to control the center of the mat. And this match, it was kind of the opposite. It looked like Ringer was, for the most part, controlling the center of the mat. Dake was kind of giving up ground, circling back, and kind of, he did a good job moving his feet, never really getting close to giving up a push out. But I think Ringer looked really good, and then he just kind of looked, his shot selections just looked like they were a little bit too, he just needs to pick his shots a little better.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that is by design. I mean, I don't know if you saw that Dake drill video that Flo put out, but he was doing a lot of that same, like, bouncing around from the outside and, like, kind of, like, juking one way and going the other way and running his feet. So it's almost like that's exactly what his match looked like. Like, he was kind of like, he wasn't really that intentional in controlling the center, but he was kind of like trying to, frustrate him from the open. So I don't know if how much of that is by design or if Dieringer actually did do a good job and Kyle Dake just couldn't control the center. But it seems to me like that was just, that was Dake was fine with that.
Yeah, that's true. So it might be a little tactical switch up with Dake, and man, it'll be interesting to see what changes for this next match. Hopefully OSU coaches are doing some master planning behind there, and we're gonna see a match 3. I like three matches. All right, hey, thanks for calling, big dog.
All right, see you guys.
Later.
T. Later, sweet dog.
All right.
T.
So again, that was Travel DeLognev, the Ohio RTC coach and assistant coach at Ohio State University, the newest bronze medalist for the United States of America. He came to good old Lincoln, Nebraska, the Good Life, last week. And we got to see our old college roommate, which is fun. Always a blast hanging out with him and his family, Kirsten. But we got some great wrestling still to be had.
That's some good insight there from a guy who has had to do a lot of best of 3. And what's the strategy? How are you feeling after match 1? And what's each guy feeling? We got a question on the live stream from Adam Kieswider, and he says, what is the percentage that the guy who wins the first match wins the series? And we don't know that. That would take a lot of research that we cannot do right now. But what would you think? I mean, we got Trevel's insight on what that is, but as the guy who wins going into that second match, what as a coach, what would you tell your guy?
Say it again. Give me another question.
So what would you be telling your guy if you're Kyle Dake's coaches? And I mean, he's been in this best of 3, so he's experienced this. But for most people, let's just say someone who's never been in a best of 3, you win the first one. What are you telling them for the second one?
I don't think that you need a lot of communication here. I think it's mostly, hey, great job, great match. Let's find our takedown next match, and I think right now for Kyle Dake, he's in the driver's seat, and with that confidence, should be able to produce a little bit more offensive points. The thing about Kyle Dake that so many people don't realize is that, yeah, he's very defensive and can score defensively, but when he needs to go and get a score, he gets a score, right? He's got a head inside shot, we call it the Carl Perry shot, where he can get up and through you, and I think that would be a huge bonus for this next match, is to come out there, score a takedown right away, and to get going. So
that would really set the tone if Dake comes out and gets on the board real quick. I think that's going to be very decisive in that match. If he can get up early, he can sit. Dieringer looked so frustrated at the end of that match, and if you've ever wrestled somebody who you can't get inside on, that is very frustrating. So very interested to see how Ringer changes his game plan for this next one. If he tries to get it going really intense, really early, really get in his face, really try to push him around, try to get an opportunity early, and then see where it goes from there.
For sure. Hey, we got some more wrestling news to talk about. Just a few days ago, it was announced that Yanni and Zane will be wrestling match number 2 again. So through arbitration, Cornell side won, and there will be a match 2. So as it stands right now, Russia actually has their world team before the United States of America. That's a little bit different.
That is unusual.
Typically, we have this done and decided. But so the winner of this series will take our 79 kilo spot, and then our 65 kilo will be decided TBD. We don't really know when that's going to happen. It's probably going to happen before September 5th, I believe, is when the team leaves for acclimation camp. and it should be that's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on the whole arbitration? Did you think it was going to go through?
Yeah.
Did you think it was not going
After
to go through?
watching it and just seeing everything, as soon as I knew it was going to arbitration, I figured somehow Yanni's going to come out on top in that. Now, whether that is he gets match 2 or they just have to re-wrestle match 2, I figured that's probably what was going to happen, especially when it took so long for them to decide it. It's probably, okay, yes, that is the wrong call. Now what do we do? Do we give that match to Yanni? Do we go back and wrestle the second one? So my thought was it kind of went exactly how it was going to go. I don't think you can give that match to Yanni. I think you do need to wrestle the second one. With that being said, I do think, oddly enough, this gives, I guess it's not odd when you get another opportunity, but Yanni's going to have a lot of momentum, especially after beating him at the Dogu. So I see Yanni maybe coming out on top in this one. It's going to be tough to beat Zane Rutherford 2 times in a row. Actually, it would be 3 times in a row now. But technically, some people would say 4 times in a row. But I'm real excited for that one. I think everyone watching at Final X was like, wow, I'll pay the price of admission just to watch these two wrestle one more time. So
that's what I felt too. I felt so cheated by not being able to see those two wrestle one more time. I love Zane Rutherford. I think Zane Rutherford is probably one of my favorite wrestlers, but Yanni is so exciting. Those two make the most exciting matchup, and it felt like to me Yanni won that match, and then they went back and changed it, right? So a lot of people are discussing right now, is this good for the sport to have the arbitration change the result of a match, and why wouldn't somebody just change the results all the time, right? So like a match happens, you think there's exposure, and they didn't. And sorry, I'm losing my focus.
Keep going.
But the reason why it was overturned is because the procedures of wrestling were not followed. So I don't think this is something that we're going to see very regularly. Rob Cole has a really good interview up on Flow Wrestling in which he talks about the process and how tedious and how long the process was. First, you have all these documents that you have to fill out, and then the USA Wrestling side. So basically, it was the USA Wrestling and their lawyers and Zane and his coaches versus the Cornell lawyers, and then there was somebody who oversees the USOC, and then somebody that is experienced in this sport arbitration. And at first, the side of the Zane side was saying, well, there's this clause in UWW that states once a match winner is taken, right, and the hands is raised and they step off the mat, that is final. And the arbitrators, basically said, no, that doesn't hold water with the USOC because blah, 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 blah. So they go on, it's just this long, drawn-out process in which finally it came down to the procedures were not followed correctly, and they're going to re-wrestle match 2, which for me, I'm like, man, it's great for Yanni because he gets an opportunity to make the team, but it also really sucks for Yanni because he won that match. Had the procedures been in place and followed, he would have won match 2, and then he would, the series would be tied 1-1, and there would be a final match to decide the team. So instead, what happens is it's 1-0 Zane, we re-wrestle match number 2, and Yanni has to beat somebody of Zane's caliber 2 times in a row, and all Zane has to do is win 1 time. And to me, I think that is, somewhat unfair considering the circumstances. Now, I get it. I get how, litigation works and how you couldn't just hand that, but in theory, had it been followed correctly, Yanni would be tied right now 1-1 with Zane. But what it sounds like to me, and there's a lot of people out there wondering about Zane and his health, it sounds like he was wrestling at the last, the latest camp that USA Wrestling had, or what do you call those? Yeah, camp.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be able to compete and hopefully he's going to be healthy doing it, right? Because an unhealthy Zayn is going to have a very, very difficult time beating Yanni, obviously.
So what would happen if Zayn was injured?
Then Yanni goes,
Yeah,
right? I mean, then it's you forfeit the position, which would stink. But that's what happens. I mean, that's what Nahshon Garrett did, right?
Yeah.
Nahshon Garrett won last year to Joe Colon.
Yeah.
Then he was hurt, and then so Colon wrestled in his spot and won a world bronze medalist. And that's
Yeah.
what's great about United States wrestling right now is we've got multiple people that can go in there and win medals for us. So we want to have the best person there.
Which I think there's no. I think the main reason why the U.S. is doing so well is to the RTC thing. And I think if people look at how we're doing now compared to how we were doing, I don't know, since the 90s, it's pretty obvious, I think, why our team's doing so well. So keep the RTC thing going. I'm on Team RTC. I don't know where
most people
Mr. Rutledge is over here.
I think most people are on Go RTC, right? I mean, it's obviously made a huge difference in what our level is on the world stage, and we got to continue doing it. Now, if we modify rules to make it more fair between recruiting, and there probably needs to be more. What I don't understand about it is why can't the NCAA have more of an influence on the RTCs, right? What it sounds like is NCAA wrestling says we're not going to deal with that because that's USA wrestling, but if it's negatively influencing NCAA, then NCAA should be able to get involved. If it's being cheated, and that's what the rumor is. Obviously, we don't know to what extent or who or how, but yeah, so
where are we at on match 2?
I don't know. I'm getting a lot of texts right now. If anybody knows, maybe Twitter would be the place to go to check out when is match 2 starting.
See how much.
I guess I'm going to make
longer?
a post real quick on social media, and then I want to get into and discuss Kyle Dake and how he postponed this wrestle-off and whether you think it's fair or not. So real quick, Drew and I are going to pop up some things on social media. Hang tight with us. Share it on your social media. Again, subscribe. The plan is to do some more of this live stream audios with the bigger matches. We've got a lot of commentary from you guys saying, hey, show the match, and we just can't do that. That's something that we're not going to be able to do because that's a copyright law. And
if we do that, yes, they say, oh, well, they don't refresh it all the time. I get that. But then we get a copyright strike on this channel, and one of them, you don't want those. Trust me. You don't want copyright strikes on your channel. 3 of them, and your channel gets deleted. So that's the reason we're not willing to risk it, and why a lot of people do live stream on YouTube is because they can get those channels shut down. We do not want this channel to get shut down. So that is why we are not willing to risk the old live stream there, unfortunately. But if you are not able to watch it, that is why we're doing live commentary. And we want to do more of these things in the future. If we could show it for you guys, we definitely would love to do that. But unfortunately, that is not going to be possible. But just like Travell said, he wasn't able to watch it. He's on the road. So it's not a bad thing to we'll try to do some color commentary for free on YouTube.
what is, give me the definition between color and
Swear words.
Oh,
yeah.
Color commentary.
Colorful language.
Really?
Yep. We're gonna let the few F-bombs drop here in the next segment. Let just kind of okay. Jasmine Freilich, Rick's wife, aka that's not her last name anymore. Because we don't know Rick's last name. It's just Dad. Rick the Rasslin was his middle name, and Dad. She said, would we consider ourselves liberal media? and then she said, show the match and take the strike like a man. Which, hey, she's making some valid points. We are in her living room right now. And she said that Rick is going to hyphenate his last name. So it is Rick the Rasslin Dad Freilich. is what we're thinking. Is what that's gonna be. So,
Oh man,
so
that's why we
when,
love Jazzy.
Yeah, when old
She's
Rick
my
gets
favorite.
back here, we're gonna make him legally sign those papers and change the name to that. So, looks like Mike Mal is back on the. They're kind of recapping that first match. I would assume you got to give him at least 40, 45 minutes, especially if you do a event for just one match, which I'm thinking I don't know if they could have done this, but try to get some, like, top-ranked high school guys to, have a couple matches, or even, like, really good 8th graders or 7th graders to wrestle in between. But when you just are, when that many people there for just one match or one series, you should probably give them the amount of time that they need. 45 minutes, I think, would be a comfortable number that people could all get behind. 45 minutes, you can recover, and I'm thinking that could benefit Dake the longer the break. So he's been wrestling probably a little bit less than Dieringer has, but hopefully they can get back. I don't know how long it's been since.
We're at 134. I bet the match ended about 110, so we're about 25 minutes into their break. Could you, Smooth G, get me into Rick the Rasslin Dad to share on some other sites?
On Facebook?
Yes. I've got all I have to do is copy and paste.
I already did it on Facebook.
Well,
this is what I do at the start of every podcast. Why I'm just sitting there on my phone is I'm trying to share all of these on
this site. This is where we're gonna get more followers, and I don't want to post it for my own.
Why not?
I don't know.
It's gonna be. You can't post page to page.
Dang it!
You got to do it.
All
So
right,
do you
just
have
copy and paste, yep.
Okay. Yeah. So I sit here, and that's what I do. So that brings me to my next point. If you guys want to follow Rick the Rasslin Dad on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, you can go ahead and do that. I believe if you just type in Rick the Rasslin Dad with an R, you should very easily be able to find it. And that's where we post a lot of when we're going live. If you obviously subscribe to this YouTube channel and hit the notification bell right next to the subscribe button, you will get a notification whenever we go live. And we do go live, at least at this point, for every episode. So you can get in. We can have a little conversation in the chat while it's going on, kind of like what Rick the Rasslin Dad Freilich's wife is doing right now. And we're having a little chat, and there's quite a few people in our chat at this moment. But Adam Keysweater said that he believes 30 minutes is the rule, which that has probably not even happened yet. So they're back to the mat. I bet they'll be coming up here in the next 5 minutes. They're streaming the mat again, so
we're getting it close. We're getting close to match number 2, Ringer versus Dake. Yeah, sweet. So one of the questions is it fair what Kyle Dake did? Some people would say at Final X you need to be ready to wrestle, and if you're not, it's just like the World Championships. That opportunity passes you by. So the fact that our world champion Kyle Dake was not able to go at that time, what do you think about that? Should people be allowed to extend wrestle-offs? Holy cow, we're going already.
Wow, they're going back. And Dieringer looked like he took another shower. That is nice. He's got that long hair. Adam Keysweater, coach of Columbus High, he's a avid follower of the Rick the Rasslin Dad podcast. He said that he wonders if hair in the eyes was an issue at all for Dieringer. I would say no. I used to wrestle with just as long of hair as that. God has now taken that away from me.
Yeah.
Through alopecia, but his is curly enough. I don't think that's gonna be an issue. Kyle Dake coming to the mat right now.
Do this.
Dake's in blue, Ringer's in red. This is gonna be. I think this first period is gonna say a lot. I think if probably the first minute of the first period is gonna say a lot for Dieringer. I think if Dake just slows it down, he's gonna probably take this match too. But here we go.
All right, Kyle Dake
Match 2 coming up.
With his coaches.
Slaps his face a little
Rob
bit.
Cole. And let's go. Here we go. Wrestlers shake hands in the middle of the mat. Ringer again in 3-point stance. I think Tervel's right. I think Tax has changed. Nice. A shot right now by Dake. He's got the leg up of Dieringer hopping on one leg, and he drives him
gets
out
a push
for one.
out. Oh, Ringer gives him a little shove there at the end.
Big score.
That's
first
big.
score
10
for
seconds. Dake up 1-0.
Dake does this little 2-on-1 elbow pass that I love. He's got like a Russian tie, but instead of pulling it off with the shoulder, he hops back and gets into a Carl Perry position or head inside shot. Very effective right now with that elbowing off. Ringer's hanging on the head, and Dake is just taking the elbow passes, circling, moving his feet really well. Much different Kyle Dake than we saw the last time that they wrestled against each other.
Again, Ringer is controlling the center of the mat, but I think that probably plays into... I think Dake is allowing that to happen. I don't think he's too worried about getting a push out. He's so staunch in his stance, and it is so hard
nice
to move him.
drag, nice drag by Dake, and he's looking for more,
another
but
push
he
out.
gets a push out. Ringer, good job by Ringer to stay on his feet and not allow any more points than that one push out.
He goes drag to a head on the outside single, but Dieringer prevents the takedown, but again, gets a push out. Dake 2-0 right now on Dieringer.
Exactly what we were talking about, that confidence that match one gave him. He comes out and is able to be a little bit more offensive right away, and now we see Ringer in a 2-0 hole. He's got to come after him, and that's going to play right into where Dake's strengths are.
We've got a minute 35 left in this first period. Again, Dake with his butt to the outside, but I think he's just picking his spots. He gets to a attack that he wants, and he circles it out, and then he's been able to get 2 push-outs that way.
Dake has really been riding that caution area, the white circle, around the out of bounds, but he just knows what he has to do. He's got incredible body control of when to circle, where to circle, and how to manipulate his body to stay in bounds and then get to his leg attacks.
Dieringer has not gotten a real solid attempt off yet in either the first match or this first period of the second match. Dake just keeps him from getting inside. I cannot imagine again how frustrating that has to be.
Ringer is the first one to make contact every time. Right now, Dake is just toroing him off like he's like a, what do you call that, a bull... A
matador.
A matador. Boom. Matadors him one way, matadors him the other way, circles his butt back to the center, picking and choosing where he's taking his shots. Now Ringer's got to start coming. 22 seconds left in the first period.
Still 2-0 Dake.
Again, Dake right by out of bounds right now. Just almost like trying to bait Ringer to really start pressuring in so he can do something. Some counter offense. 6 seconds.
Dake's slowing him down, and he's going to take this first period.
The period ends with Dake shoving Ringer's head down in stance and just controlling the hand fight right now, controlling the ties, and this strategy is just working to a T right now for Kyle Dake in the company. John Smith talking right now to Ringer, giving him words of advice. Hey, if there's anybody that can help you out on a wrestling mat,
yeah.
I think old John Smith might be one of them.
Yeah. Hey, maybe get that John Smith little single going. Don't know if he's going to be able to move that leg once he gets it, but,
Might as well.
it's probably worth it.
Again, initiating ties, stalking forward.
Or round 2, sorry. Period 2 just starting. Still 2-0 Kyle Dake. A takedown for Dieringer. Oh,
Dieringer
moving
pops him to front headlock. Body lock for Dake.
body lock for Dake.
On
right
the edge. On the edge. Big lift.
He's trying to go inside trick. Oh,
big lift.
Oh!
Headlock.
Oh!
Headlock by Ringer. Followed by rolling through with Kyle Dake. How are we going to score this exchange?
Oh my gosh. So Dake's in on a body lock, picks him up, and then Ringer turns it into a headlock. Headlocks Dake to his back, then Dake rolls it through.
I'm telling you, he is on his hip, and Ringer is able to throw him through. Ringer's side is upset right now. The scoreboard shows 3-0 Dake. Ringer with no points. There has to be some type of a point.
There's got to be. You got to. I mean, you're not going to probably put 4 up on Dake that easy. You got to challenge this.
Well, no. Yeah, you have to challenge.
You got to challenge. Yeah, they're challenging.
I believe this will change. I think it's got to be 2-2, right?
Yes.
Dake puts him on the mat. Dieringer rolls him through. It could be 2-2 for Dake and 2 for Ringer, but Ringer has to score some type of points here.
I could see 4-2 Dake, or I could see 2-2.
You could say what? 4?
I could see Dake getting 4, Ringer getting 2. He gets 2 in exposure for Dake, and then Ringer gets exposure.
Yep, but
on the
it's not a 4 because
he
it's
picks
not
him up,
feet to
and
back.
it's almost looking like he's trying to almost pick him up and plant him,
Let's see it again.
and then Ringer headlocks him. But then,
Headlocks him through.
jeez, that was a nice roll through by
The
Kyle
referee
Dake.
on the mat gives 4 red and 2 blue, and that could be the score
Yeah.
because the headlock came right off the movement. Dake
Did they-
has a body lock. He's on the edge. It's close to a step out, but the whole
Yes.
foot's not out of bounds. Dake lifts him up. He's looking for the throw. He ends in a headlock on his knees, and Ringer throws him through, followed by Dake rolling him through. So it has to be 2-2 of some kind. Again,
Was there? I mean, we don't have the audio on this, but they wouldn't have stopped it. Oh, so they
the
go.
score is 4-0.
Wow.
Dake
So they
lost
gave-
challenge for Ringer. No points for Ringer.
So they ended up going only push out for Dake.
No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they went
That's
push
what
out
happened.
for Dake because I was wondering. That's what I was saying. If we had the audio, I don't know if they blew a whistle when he stepped out.
Well, it
for the
doesn't matter
step out.
if a step out occurs and you're not in a scoring action, then that is the call. Like
Yeah.
if you step out and then the action. So Dake had him off the mat and
And he does go back down. So Ringer goes back down and he's out of bounds. And we don't have the audio on this, but I wonder if they blew the whistle and then that's when the headlock was thrown and then the roll through by
well, and
Dake.
the whistle doesn't matter. What they're saying is the step out is the call. 4-0.
So and then he lost the challenge. So it's 4-0 Dake over Dieringer with a minute
1:45.
45 left in the second period.
Referee is verbally telling Dake to wrestle. Dake is riding right the edge of the mat, moving right to left, moving his hands, circle him out. OSU is upset and angry. They're getting on the referee right now, trying to get Dake to stay in one place and wrestle.
It's going to be very... if I was Kyle Dake, I would do exactly what I'm doing. You can give up passive. You can go
right now.
cautious.
Why do you say passive like you're from a different country?
Passive. I am from a different
Oh,
country.
you are? Okay.
Yeah. Romania.
All right, here we go. Kyle Dake circling again.
He's just
but
going to hold
out of
position
bounds,
for the
110.
rest of this last minute coming up here. He can give up quite a bit here.
Ringer-
Up 4-0.
Ringer is looking for his fish hook. He's going clubs to the head, finding the fish hook, looking for his underhooks, finding something to go to. The thing about Ringer, double leg for Ringer. He was in
jeez.
deep. Hips from Kyle Dake just turns him down. Those hips have got to be
Yeah.
so powerful.
That was the best shot Ringer's had this whole series. In deep on a double, and Kyle Dake just deflects him off.
Kyle
Turns a
Dake-
hip. Over Wizard. Oh,
We are.
no, we're good.
We're good. 37 seconds. Again, looking for
Dieringer's
that
looking
double.
for that opening, trying to get under his arms. Dake
To a
just
leg.
staying low in a stance, head hands defense, keeping him away. 25 seconds left.
20.
Dieringer's
got
going to need
no
something
answers.
big here. Keeps shooting. He's in on a leg. Gets a push
Step
out on
out.
Dake.
4-1 right now. 4-1. A 4-pointer would win it for him. He's got to find that high C. He's got to go feet to back here. Kyle Dake is so savvy. He knows what to do.
10 seconds left. Kyle Dake just staying in the stance, looking like he's going to close this one out. 6 seconds. Ringer again, getting another push out with 2 seconds left. 4-2 for Dake up. And I don't think you're going to take Kyle Dake down in 2 seconds. I think Kyle Dake will be our world team member, and that is the case.
4-2 is the finish. Dieringer's exhausted, head on the mat with disappointment. Kyle Dake struts over the referee, shakes his hand, hands on his knees right now.
I feel bad for
It's got to be
Dieringer.
tough. A dominant season for Alex Dieringer, and he just comes up short against our returning world champion Kyle Dake. He's
He
just
scored
on a different
2 more.
level.
He scored 3 more points on him than anyone at the World Championships did, though.
Hand raised right now for Kyle Dake. Ladies and gentlemen, he means business again for a second straight year.
So this brings me to an interesting thought that I have had. If you're Dieringer, or let's say you're a Kyvan Gadsden, or
There's Zadok. Zadok's handing Kyle Dake. Zadok make it down to Austin, Texas to greet his new world team member and Kyle Dake. They're taking pictures with the United States plaque. Big smile from Kyle Dake. Pretty exciting.
Could have just won a world championship right there.
That
That
very
could be
well
his
could've.
toughest. That's probably his toughest competition he's gonna have.
Big breath by Kyle Dake. He hands his trophy off to his mom, gives his little daughter, new daughter, a kiss. He's had a busy year. It's been a soap opera of events, from a kid being born to injuring his knee to postponing a wrestle-off to getting the job done here in Austin, Texas in August, right before he's taking pictures with fans now. And
Oh, that's got to
a
be
wrap.
annoying. I'd get out of there if I was him.
Single
You can't
strap
talk to
down.
like 10,000 kids right now.
High fives to kids.
Not 10,000. How many people do you think are there? 2,000?
Hey.
Maybe 1,500.
He's a wrestler for the people, man.
He's tired, man. Let him go do a press conference and then go take pictures.
All right, he's trying to squirm out of there, but people are just swarming him. I tell you what, this is what actually happens to Smooth G when he walks down the street.
Usually
is
it's ladies, though.
Ladies
Yeah.
just are, passes CP and Mark Bader, and that is a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Dake is the new world team member at 79 kilos. What a dude. What a representative he will be. Both guys, awesome competitors. You gotta feel for Ringer.
Yeah. And so this is kind of what I was touching on a little bit earlier is you're Alex Dieringer, you're Kyvan Gadsden, you're one of these guys who is behind one of the best wrestlers maybe we've ever had. Is there a way, and I know that UWW, whatever organization you want to go for, has rules on wrestling for competing for another country. We do see a lot of Americans that do this. Mičić, you see, wow. Come on, help me out here.
Sorry,
Guys,
I'm-
American wrestlers who are wrestling for other countries. Man, names are
Defects?
slipping me right
What?
now.
Oh, names?
yeah.
Miles Amin.
Yep,
You've
Amin.
got,
Mičić. And then you
Mičić.
got
you've got Franklin
Gomez.
Right.
But is he from Puerto Rico, or is he just competing for him?
He is from Puerto Rico, but he trains
So,
in at
could
Penn
you-
State, and so does.
I know-
guys that are wrestling Burroughs. Another one is Frank Chamizo is training in New York. So
Yeah, well, and he wrestles for Italy, and that's only because his ex-wife is from Italy. So you don't even necessarily have to have the grandparent connection, which I do believe is the rule. Is if your grandparents were born in a country or have citizenship of that country, you can you qualify to wrestle, can compete for that country. Would that be something that any of these guys should be looking into, or are they just going to say, you know what, I'm sticking to trying to make the U.S. world team, even though a guy like a Dieringer could go and potentially win a silver medal? I mean, he potentially could win a gold medal, but
Yeah.
for sure is in competition for a medal, competing for another country. What are your thoughts on that?
well, they most definitely could.
But
I
is
think
that
it depends on the individual, right? If I put myself in their shoes, that it would be very difficult for me to do that. Imagine something happens, okay, and when you decide to wrestle for another country, it's not like you can go back. Let's say Dieringer has Italian roots and he can, compete for.
I don't think he doesn't look like he has Italian.
Oh, he's
roots.
Italian.
He could
Sorry.
definitely maybe wrestle for the Irish national team
Okay, Irish, yeah.
or German. I think that's the
Let's
last
stay
name.
with Ireland, all right?
Okay.
He's wrestling for Ireland. He's born and raised an American, right? Kyle Dake gets injured in the tournament. Crazy things happen. Ringer wins the tournament. He's up on the award stand, and the Irish national anthem plays while he's on the award stand.
I mean, but the odds of him, okay, that or he doesn't ever get on the award stand.
And that's just part of wrestling, right? Is you have to be the best in your country to represent your country.
We see this a lot in other sports, especially soccer. In international soccer, you see guys switching all the time. A lot of the Americans on the U.S. national soccer team are from Germany or they're born in those countries to American parents, and they're not going to make the German national team ever. So they're never going to be able to compete in a World Cup. You get paid a lot of money to be on those teams, to compete in a World Cup, you get noticed, especially if your team qualifies for the World Cup. You get noticed, you get a lot more opportunities. So maybe in soccer it's a different scenario, but at least you have the opportunity to compete at the World Championships, whereas a ringer may never get to do that. Kyle Dake had his first world team last year.
Yeah, but
And he didn't get a point scored on him, and that's his first world championship.
But that's the point, is he's an American, so he should be wrestling for the United States of America. I am with Hillary's daily adventure on this. Hillary says, like kissing your sister, USA or stay home. Very, very true.
I definitely get that side of it, but if you are, I mean, in Dieringer, this was a lot closer, but I'm not picking on anyone here, but let's just say you have Kyle Snyder in front of you, maybe the best American wrestler of all time, by the time he's done. Most
Could be,
successful.
or might not. I mean, we
maybe
can
not.
see next
Maybe
year.
not. Who knows? But if this is your job, you can still get. Can you make more money competing for another team? And to where this is your job, you can stay in the United States and train. You can do what Frank Chamizo does. He trains in New York.
Yeah, I mean, that's the debate, right? I mean, everybody's going to have their own opinions on it. My opinion on the matter is to be true to yourself, if you are an American, you wrestle for the United States of America. It doesn't matter if you have, a grandma that's from a different country and you could potentially wrestle somewhere else. It just doesn't sit well with me. So
I don't think obviously it would be anyone's first choice, but how much can you make out? I guess you can make a living. If you're Dieringer, you make a living pretty well wrestling, but not everyone can do that. And the United States is so deep, and you see it in Russia all the time. Now, granted, I don't know if we should necessarily be comparing us to Russia that much, but their guys go and wrestle for Uzbekistan, Georgia, Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Ukraine. They wrestle for a lot of those countries. And that's just because they can't make potentially the best world team in the world. So, I don't know. It's something that I've always kind of thought. I feel so bad when you see a guy like Alex Dieringer not be able to compete at world championships when he's probably the second best wrestler at that weight in the world. And he's never even competed at world championships. And so, I don't know. It's just a thought I've kind of been mulling it over. We've seen some guys do it, and it's worked out for them. Franklin Gomez, I think, would be a big one. But, yeah, I don't know.
So
some thoughts I had.
We got about, 109 is where we usually end. We're at 102, so we got one more topic to talk about. That way we won't have to get into it, next Wednesday. So for anyone listening for the first time, Rick the Rasslin Dad podcast, we're missing Rick right now. He's in Fargo training Timmy, getting him ready, acclimating him for next July, but he's typically
that
here.
North Dakota elevation.
Yep,
that'll
you
get you.
never know.
That'll get you.
You never know.
Expand those lungs.
But we do a podcast on Wednesday nights, usually going live about 10:30, somewhere around that time.
Sometimes it's midnight, sometimes it's 11.
But just talk wrestling. We love wrestling, and we talk wrestling on Wednesday nights. It's posted by the next morning on most of the podcast outlets, if you will. But real quick, let's get into should that wrestle-off had happened. Kyle Dake gets injured when Final X rolls around 3 days, I believe, before Final X Rutgers. He declares or announces that he will not be able to wrestle, and because he is the returning world champion, he is allowed to push back that wrestle-off. Do you think that is a good thing, or do you think that we should establish our team on the date that was set up?
I think the system that we have right now, although not perfect, it does work. I think you need to give our world medalists some preferential treatment if they need it, in the sense that he's a world champion. Even if you're just if you're a world bronze medalist, not even if you're any sort of medalist, which is amazing. I do think you should be in the conversation even if you're injured, and if you need a few more, you need a month, you need 2 months to heal up, I think that's fair to our national team. I think we want to put the best national team out there. I don't think anybody would disagree with that, and to make an exception like this, situation like this happen, I think is totally okay.
So the next piece of controversy, and I would agree with you, the next piece of controversy was, and this is hearsay because we don't really know. I don't know what all went into the letter that was given to USA Wrestling, but a doctor wrote that in order to push back a wrestle-off, you must have, a certain amount of documentation. This doctor's note would say this is a date that he can compete, and I don't know what that date was, but many people are speculating that it said he was not able to compete until now, in which the wrestle-off just took place on August 19th? What's the
17th?
date? August 17th. But the controversy lies is in about a month ago, Kyle Dake went to Spain and wrestled in a tournament and, wrestled live. And so people said that Kyle Dake took advantage of the system by wrestling in Spain. He was obviously ready to wrestle in Spain. So why couldn't we have bumped up this wrestle-off to, July or early July? Did he take advantage of the system?
Probably yes. I would say, yeah, he did. And he's got a pretty smart crew of people behind him, that old Ivy League staff. So, yeah, he probably did. But if it's in the rules, it's in the rules. Change if people don't like that, change the rule. Like, get the rule changed. You can't fault somebody for doing what the rule book says, whether you think that's the right thing to do or not. If it's in the rule book, take every advantage you can get and make sure. I mean, this is your livelihood. Like, I don't think he would care at all what he thinks other people think is fair. Do it. If it's in the rules, do it.
Yeah. So a lot of people are complaining about this, and my thought on the matter is, we want the best guy in the United States representing us at the World Championships, whether that have been Ringer or Dake. We want the best guy. So for us to sit back and say, well, he took advantage of the system, he should have been, he should have wrestled the first date that the doctor said he could wrestle. Well, the reality is Ringer is an incredible wrestler, and Kyle Dake needs to prepare like he would prepare for another high elite level competition, right? And if that means going to Spain and getting some live matches is going to help him prepare for Ringer, we should allow that, and we should be okay with that. And the fact of the matter is, now we have the best representative to go to the World Championships, and that's I think, a lot of people are saying it's un-American to be able to take, advantage of the system, and at this date we need to do it. We have procedures in place, and in America we follow these procedures. Well, there needs to be some give and take to that rule structure so that we can, get our best representative at the World Championships. Now, we don't want tons of guys, taking advantage of those procedures, but I don't really think Dake really did anything wrong. Now, if the doctor's note said, this is the first date he can compete, and he actually in fact competed before then yeah, I think that's wrong, and there should have been some clarification on that. But the way that the fact of the matter is, we have our best guy wrestling, and I'm happy for it.
Also, I assume that the doctor's like, okay, you should for sure be healed by this day. You could be healed well before that too. And so I'm guessing he rehabbed it really well, rehabbed it hard, and got healthier quicker than what the doctor's like, okay, well, usually this is how long it will take somebody. So I'm going to give you the longest amount of time you need. I mean, I'm guessing the doctor knew the situation. He's like, you know what, I'm going to do it to where I feel for sure anyone could be healed for this thing, for this injury. And so, and he's an elite level athlete, a world-class athlete, and he heals faster. So, I understand the situation. I don't know how Dieringer feels about it, but I don't know if that really matters. So,
sure. All right. Hey, I think we're good. Just remember, subscribe. We're going to have some more of this. The next one will probably be in the next few weeks when we get to watch Yanni and Zane compete for the last remaining freestyle world team spot. And that's going to be a sweet, hopefully, 2-match series. If Zane wins the first one, he's the world team member. But
so you want Yanni to win the first one?
I want Yanni to win the first one so we get to see more wrestling. I felt robbed at Rutgers that we didn't get to see more wrestling.
Okay.
More wrestling equals better.
Sounds good.
All
right. Thanks for listening,
following.
everyone. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that notification bell because we go live every week. And, see you guys around.